So BTC has just broken a small little 2-hour trend, but interestingly, the S&P is actually falling over, even though we had some decent jobless claims coming out or job news in the States. So the market is definitely still a little bit choppy here, and we've got to deal with a couple of things. But I've also got a massive ETH buyer that you guys need to know about that could be super bullish for the market as a whole. And we know this ETH train is not going to stop once this thing starts moving. So we're talking some ETH things today. Then I've got a ton of other token updates for you, including a trade that I took yesterday from a position that I set up that I gave you guys. So we got so much to talk about today. Then I'm also bringing in Chaos from the back. He's got a little project that he is interested in that we are looking at very closely. So stick around. We've got a lot to talk about today. Let's get right into this. And remember, before we get cracking here, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell. And let's get right into this. So, Banter Bubbles is speaking quite nicely today. A nice little mix. And you will note Arweave has blown up 12.6%. That was a nice little level that we've been talking about for a while that had popped off. And we're going to cover that one today. I've got that Arweave ready for you guys. And Notcoin, again, still doing its thing. Uni, no surprises here that Uni is looking good. We've had some of the best movers at the moment are these dexes on the ETH strength. So things are looking very interesting on that front. But other than that, the memes having a bit of a breather. We did get a Floki buy-in as well on a level that I gave you. So I'm going to update you on that one too. Right now, where are we on BTC? Well, pretty simple. You know, it's not fireworks yet. The market's been very choppy at the moment. If you're trying to scalp BTC like I have in the last couple of days, you will note it's very choppy. We're just a little bit up, a little bit of down. We can't really get going. But yesterday we bought BTC off that 786 fib bounce, and it's behaved really nicely. They came back and they tested it one more time, and now it has taken off and given us a small little trend break. So right now I'm watching 67,240. This has got to be your level that you are watching now today. For any weakness here today, you're looking for a reaction there in that area. If we start drifting lower, the big one has to be 66K. We can't ignore that level. Obviously, we got a little trend and things like that in between, but I suspect if we start pushing lower now and we lose the 786, I suspect they're going to go for the full hog here. And they're going to push us to 66. I'm going to show you why. We have a liquidation heat map here. This is the 1 day. This is all the exchanges liquidation heat maps here. And you can see lower down, there's a nice little chunk here for us all the way down to round about 66K. Even at a push, they can test us at about 65K. So this is something we need to just pay attention to. If you start seeing weakness in the market, make sure you are ready. Make sure you know your levels and you understand where these guys could potentially take you. If you look at Binance alone and on Binance's liquidation map, you can see they've pinged around about 66 is where the juicy little region is here for these guys. Those are the 100x and the 50x traders that are sitting there, and easy pickings if they want to just send it down there. So look out for that area. And right now I am trading BTC in Prime XBT. You can see I've got a little trend break here. I'm watching it closely, and I'm looking for a new high. And I'd like to see this little region get taken quickly. I want to see a little push higher up here. That's going to give us some kind of indication that things could be a little bit more bullish, and that could maybe help us start adding to this position. So right now, I'm just churning along slowly here, and you can see I'm still sitting in that ton position from yesterday. So no changes on that one as yet, and a little bit choppy, a little bit boring at the moment, I must say, on some of these tokens. So we just need to be a little bit patient. We don't want to get ourselves chopped out here and sent to zero for no particular reason other than frustration and trying to get trading. Now, we had some interesting jobless claims coming out, and they are technically bullish for the S&P, generally okay. But we do have some more numbers coming out tomorrow. We've got the PCE numbers, and that might have a nice little effect on the S&P, because right now the S&P has actually started turning over. So there's a couple of things we can do here. Number one, the S&P has lost the previous all-time high. So now we are losing a key level here, which was 5,250. That was a big level that we've retested before. We've bounced off that previously, but now we have lost it. So potential longs brewing here on the S&P, potential bounce longs leading into tomorrow's numbers coming out. So if you are interested in trading the S&P with me, there might be a little scalp that we'll be able to take here off the 50-day MA and this 382 pool. So there might be something here for us at around about 5,195. If we do drift a little bit lower, there's another potential bounce play for us at 5,100. So you are going to be able to trade this with me on Prime XBT, because Prime XBT has the global markets as well. So grab the link in the description on the show. We can take a long on the S&P from those levels tomorrow, and they've got a nice little platform here. You can just go to trade, you go to CFD trading, and they're going to cover you with the S&P. They're going to cover you with gold, silver, and all those types of things as well. So jump in on Prime XBT, have a look, check it out, and if we hit our targets, if we hit those areas, I'm going to be jumping in a position there on the S&P. Okay. Q&E, this is from Quinton. He says the qualitative easing money printing cycle will be unreal. So I just wanted to show you guys this as a reminder. For the last few years, we have been on a downward cycle here with the money printing, and now this thing has bottomed out, and the money printer is starting to get turned on again. They're slowly starting to churn this thing a little bit higher. And this could get quite spicy for a lot of these markets. And Bitcoin sitting up at these current levels with this money, the money cycle at these current levels, it's so low right now. We are expecting some massive moves out of BTC and just the general S&P as well. So just a nice little notable thing. This chart has turned up, and things are looking a little bit bullish now on that front. Now, a lot of you have probably seen this video floating around already today. I'm going to play it just for fun. And I'm going to tell you the context here and tell you what this is all about. Let me just pull this one up quickly. I want to get the sound ready for you. Chaos, just let me know if you can hear the sound once I hit play here.
No team tokens, no dev tokens, everything is in circulation. Enjoy trading, have fun.
So this is Caitlyn Jenner. Okay. And a lot of these celebrities have been launching these meme coins. And I just wanted to caution you all. It's all a big laugh here at the moment. But this is now trending today. And there's a lot going on out there. I don't own this thing. And I don't feel like getting rinsed or wrecked. And I just wanted to caution you guys. I wanted to show you a little tweet or two as to what is happening out there. And if you're going to trade these things, obviously, you need to be a little bit careful with what you are getting involved in. So Caitlyn Jenner is here shilling her own token, or her, they, them's token, or whatever the story is. And now, you know, a lot of these things end in tears. So here's pics, just reminding you guys, saying celebrities have been launching scam coins since 2017. Here are the 7 biggest celebrity rug pulls in history. So go through this guy's list, okay? If you want the information, go and look. He's going to explain to you what is happening here. But there's a lot of these pump and dumps happening with these celeb scam coins. And Joji from Metaverse Joji says, prepare for round 2. Here's the stats on all these celebs launching their meme coins. Look at the ROI, okay? The best performer is Kevin Hart, -76%. So if you want to get rugged, buy some of these tokens, okay? If you want to get sent to zero, buy some of these tokens, be warned. And, you know, if you get in one of these and they start pumping, all I can say to you guys, and I can stress this, take profits early, take profits immediately, and get out, because a lot of these things end in tears. And, you know, some of these celebrities have ended up getting sued as well with some of these rugs. So just play safe. Play safe out there. Obviously, it's fun trading these absolute shit coins, but understand what you are getting involved in here. They can rug you immediately. For those who don't know what a rug is, well, basically, at 1 minute, you have some money, and the next minute, you have none. And there's no ways of getting it back. It's like a magic trick. It goes poof, and it's out of there. So play safe on these meme coins. Don't get too deeply involved in them. Okay, why are you feeling pressure right now on some of your altcoins? Why were you sweating bullets for the last 24 hours? Why are your profits not turning green on some of your longs? Well, here's a clue. Okay, number one, we've got the weekly BTC dominance doing a stock standard trend retest right now. So we had a nice little move this week. We had a push lower. Things were looking good. Memes were popping off. Everything was getting exciting. We lost the trend. What have we done now on Bitcoin dominance? Well, we've reacted just above the 200-day moving average. No surprises here. Massive indicator that you need to get on your charts. And what are we doing now? We are retesting a major weekly trend. This was massive support for a hell of a long time. So now we are testing it as resistance. Hopefully now we're going to get a rejection off this region, and that's going to be an as you were situation on some of your altcoins. So now the coins I'm going to go through today, I'm going to show you a lot of them. A lot of them are sitting in pretty much okay regions. We do have some a little bit lower for one more leg down that we could potentially grab. But right now, as far as the market is concerned, we've got some alts that are in interesting areas that we can't ignore. And if we're going to get a rejection now on this dominance, so say we push a little bit higher, a little fake out into that region, and then they turn this thing over again, we know these alts are going to start ripping off the current areas that they are on, or just the level slightly lower down. So I'm going to cover a few of these for you guys, and you can start prepping some of your potential entries. Okay, BTC on the daily, no changes here, still super bullish until we lose the rising trend. So you can see what's going on here. Nice, strong rising trend. All is well until this is lost, okay? And, then there's going to be a couple of second or third chances in this region if we're going to get moves, something like that. But number one, we don't really want to lose this trend, because what we could see then is a bounce in this region, then a rejection, and then they send us to hell. And that could last a few weeks before we get any more action. So ideally, we just want to hold this rising trend. Key support here, 66K, a little bit lower down, hasn't changed. 65K ties in perfectly with those liquidation maps as well, and makes perfect sense to me that they might want to come and flush a couple of people out before they come and send us a little bit higher. Okay, who is in the chats here? I see Crypto Cloud is here from Ghana. Welcome. Richard's looking for some sui, and JMO says the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. I fully agree. And Bobby Charles is asking for Beam, and I saw Beam was sitting on an interesting level, some nice horizontals. So for the gaming token traders, that could be something that we could look at. In fact, Chaos, can you? Well, there's the man.
I've got Beam.
He's got Beam. Okay, the man's got Beam. He's got a prep for us. So guys, keep those likes coming in. I'm not going to just unleash him for nothing. Okay, he's wearing his special headphones as well for you guys. So let's give him some proper likeage here and some subscribing here. And when the numbers are correct, he's running the show at the back. He's going to then jump on and talk to you about a couple of things. Okay. What else have we got here in the chats? Richard says AR, Sol, and Nia. I've got AR and Sol for you today. So we're going to cover you guys on that. And what else we got? We got Lichter enjoying the fact that I said it's a she-it. Well, I mean, it's a they, them, isn't it? What else we got? Ruben says Fetch. Yes, Fetch had a nice bounce as well off some good fibs. So, the market settled nicely and it's bounced really nicely so far. Now, you're not going to believe this, or maybe you will believe this, but Nansen has been doing some work, okay? And Nansen says they've identified the $650 million ETH whale, okay, holding 173,000 ETH. And as it turns out, it's the largest bank in Singapore, okay? They've just identified an ETH whale. It's a bank in Singapore. Can you believe it? Every time you guys have been selling your ETH, these guys are like the Michael Saylor of ETH. I'd love to see a picture of the CEO's eyes, if somebody can send it to me. And remember now, when you are lettuce fingering your ETH and you are dropping it, you are selling it to these guys, and they are just accumulating and accumulating. Do they know something you don't know when you offloading your ETH and these guys are buying it? I mean, are they smart money? I mean, do they know what's going on? Well, apparently they do, because they've assigned these people to buy. Well, they've got now a total of $739 billion. Okay, dollars worth of this current situation. So eyes on that. That's super bullish for the ETH market. I mean, you really have to understand what is going on here with ETH, and you don't want to fuck this opportunity up here. So any weakness for me is for buying, it's for accumulating, it's for grabbing this ETH because at some point when the money starts flowing in these ETFs, guys, I warn you again, this ETH is going to start churning higher, and things are going to start moving there. Don Crypto had an interesting point as well. Crypto sector since ETH ETF news dropped. Look at this. Outperformers, number one. We've got the DEXs at the top. Then we've got RWAs, which you know about, Ondo and company. And then we've got ETH at the top. And the memes have actually been the middle performers since the news dropped. Okay, so no, nothing to, what is the right phrase for this? But basically, keep your eyes on ETH. Don't stop watching ETH. And we're talking about ETH and friends, Matic, Optimism, Arbitrum, those things too, Lido, all those types of things. I don't want to talk about them today because I speak about them a lot, but make sure those things are on your watch list. Things are going to start churning with a lot of those. And Chris K, interesting comments here and valid point that he's making, again, to remind you guys about ETH. Every dollar into the ETH ETF is going to have a 4x to 32x bigger impact on the ETH price, according to BTC. Okay, so read this man's thread. It does make sense what he is saying here, and we can't ignore the opportunities that are being presented with us on ETH. So what did I do today? We hit our 236 on horizontal. I slotted in a buy on ETH. If we start drifting lower to our next level, what do? We're slotting in another buy on ETH at 3.5. If they send us a little bit lower, 3,200, we're selling the hamster. Okay, we're selling the hamster at 3,200. Chaos, I hope you agree. Do you have any hamsters? Well, I'm not going to have any left.
One hamster, not for long.
Well, not for long. So 3.2, I'm selling the hamster on ETH. And watch these levels. If you get these opportunities at one of these points, I would think is going to be the bottom of this ETH move. So once this thing settles down, one of these areas, if you go back test in history where we've had big moves of things, it's often been solid, big support zones, and I suspect one of these is going to be the bottom of a potential big ETH move for you guys. Don't miss the opportunity. Okay, bearish news on Sol, but surprisingly, Solana has held really well. So I wanted to show you guys Solana today. CME has no plans to offer Solana futures, and there's things going on here with Sol, apparently a little bit bearish. But, Sol's hold really well considering what is going on here with ETH, number one. And number two, a little bit of bearish news floating around on the Sol space. So for me, we're still long and strong for Sol. If you get a dip into 159, 160, even down, if they push you down to 152, anywhere in that region, for me, that's an area you're looking for buys on Sol. It's just looking too good here. It's a horizontal bounce play that we're looking at. And if it starts running early, well, number one, you've got a trend that you can play with. Very simple plan here. You got this little trend. We're looking for moves higher if it starts running. So what I would love to see, though, is a little sweat into the zone, maybe a little fake out and a ping on the 50-day MA. Look how nice that would be if we could grab those entries. We'd be feeling max bearish at this point in time if we're pinging this 50-day moving average on Sol. You're going to be wanting to exit crypto when you're feeling that level. You're feeling that bearish. You're going to start wanting to sell your Sol. But that is going to be the time where you're going to look to start clipping off a couple of buys. So keep your eyes on Sol. And then this trade that I gave you guys yesterday. So we looked at Celestia. We looked at Injective. We looked at Neutron as well, and Neutron fell into my box. So I gave you guys some bullish zones that we wanted to hit. Celestia front ran that 382 zone and ran a little bit early, but I opened my PC this morning and Neutron was in the zone, so we banged off a buy here on Neutron, and it was a simple play for me. We were looking at the 382 fib, we were looking at the 50-day moving average, we were looking at the horizontals as well. So I've given a two-phase or two setup potential trade here for the Sniper Club members as well, and if you guys are interested in jumping in something like this, there's a simple system you can do here. If you're trading spot and margin or low leverage type of things, what you can do is you can grab a buy when it dips back into this box. Okay, so you don't want to unnecessarily buy out of the box. You want to buy when there's weakness into the box. You can see what the zone is. It's a nice juicy area here for us at 0.74 down to anything around about 0.735. Nice little juicy area in that zone for us. So you can look for an entry there, and then you can try and play that bounce. If you are playing low leverage, you can then add to a further level lower down at 0.688. That's another region that you can add to, so you can start building a little bit of a position, and that should cater for, another dip in the market, a little bit more bearishness here before we start moving up again. So possible trade here for you guys, and the higher leverage traders, well, it's a very simple game plan that you can do. And number one, you're just going to look for a tight stop. So you've got your dip into the box, and if you start closing under the 50-day MA, it might tell you that things are a little bit bearish there, and maybe you don't want to stick around too much longer. So there's your first leverage sort of setup, and your stop is going to be anything from about 3% to about 2% that you can play with. And then if we do get further weakness lower down, then you can look for your next scalp off that 618. Now we know we get good moves off these 618. You see it time and time again. We get good moves off these type of areas. So there would at least be a reaction in that zone or some type of scalp for you guys to play with. And then the other one that I'm still waiting for is Injective. Okay, I've been saying here for a while, Injective was sitting on this 50-day moving average. It did bounce off it yesterday temporarily, but nothing exciting. And for me, I still want to see the 618 fib tested here on Injective. So as far as an update on that goes, I'm waiting for a little bit lower. I'd love to see a ping on Injective at 24 down to, say, 24.3, anywhere in that region. For me, Injective is going to be a sign for me that we can start looking for potential bounces, potential longs there. So something along those lines, I would love to see on Injective. objective. And right now I am trading on CoinCatch. So here's this neutron trade that I took this morning, and it's been fluctuating. At one point it was about 4 or 5% up, and here it is at the bottom of the list. You can see here on CoinCatch, and then the chart that you see in front of you is this link chart that I put together for you guys the other day when we were looking for pullbacks on Link, and we are nearly there. Okay, we have nearly hit our entry zone. Sometimes we need to wait. Sometimes we need to be a little bit patient on some of these setups, and they need to come to us. And it's like slowly fishing while you sit back and you wait for things to happen. And what I've done here, I'm going to show you now. But on CoinCatch, I have put in my first order off the 382 fib. And then I've got another order lower down off the 618 fib. So my assumption here is any further weakness in the market, I'm expecting Link to hold the 200-day moving average. Here's the 200-day moving average. You can see it's just pushing up a little bit lower here and slowly bringing up a little bit of extra support for us at the 618. So for me, there's enough reasons why I expect Link to bounce at that area on a little bit of bearishness. And then if I'm wrong and we lose that level, then your next level for Link is got to be a little bit lower down at around about 15. So my current game plan now on CoinCatch, you can see what I've done. I've got an order set here at 17.8. It's going to ping that for me when it drifts down, because it might be happening while I'm sleeping, for example. And then the next order is at 17, just off that 618 fib that I'm looking at on Link. Where we there we are. And ideally that's going to now hold then any more weakness down, maybe a wick into that 200-day MA. We're going to have to see how that plays out along the way. So let's see how that goes. If you want to trade on CoinCatch with me, there's a couple of cool things here. Number one, there's no KYC required on CoinCatch. If you are in the US, just get a VPN, and then you can trade on CoinCatch with me. And number two, they have offered you guys, exclusively to my show, a 25% cash back in your deposit. Here's their disclaimer here. Look at their little box. They're going to tell you what you need to do. But you can get 25% cash back as simply as signing up. They've given you a clock. Okay, they cannot give you this offer for too much longer. It's not happening in the industry. It's actually crazy what they are offering you guys right now. So take advantage, get a VPN, and no KYC needed for CoinCatch, and they are in the show description. So go to the show description, look at my shopping list here. You can see they are second from the top here. CoinCatch, take a look at them and give them a follow on Twitter as well. Okay, so that's the current CoinCatch situation. That's my current play for Link. And then something interesting for you guys. Now, you might have noticed today, Stargate or STG. I think it's Stargate. Chaos. Was it Stargate? Is it called Stargate?
Yeah.
Okay, it's called Stargate. And this thing got listed on Upbit. Now, we've discussed this in the past. We've seen multiple tokens pump 50%, 100% when they get their Upbit listings. Okay, so Layer GG Official has given you a list of potential candidates to get listed on Upbit. We know. We saw Auction 2 days ago as well. That's 75% on the listing. Okay, so here's a list of tokens for you guys that you can take a look at. And, I've selected two just as an example for you guys. But if you look at this list carefully, if you are holding any of these tokens, what a smart play to be here could be, because we don't know which one's going to get listed, but maybe you want to set a sell limit order at about 60% up. Maybe you want to set a sell limit order at about 80% up from your current position, in case one of these things get listed while you're sleeping, they pump overnight, and there's big selling afterwards, and they often reject. So here's an example. Here's Auction. Auction got listed on Upbit 2 days ago. And look at the size of this pump, massive move here, and notable once again how it took off from the 50-day moving average. So 80% pump off Auction, off the 50-day moving average. What did it do after it hits the top? Big sell-off, as usual. Okay, so about a 23% sell-off here on Auction. So just a key learning here is, if these things are going to get listed at Upbit, they're not going to permanently go up. At some point, they're going to pop up. Then you can take your profits, let them settle back. You can always buy in a little bit later. So if you are holding any of those tokens in the list, have a look. Here's an example. Here's one, ARPA chain. Okay, and here it is sitting on the 50-day moving average. So this is a potential listing on Upbit. We don't know when, we don't know if ever this is going to be happening. But if you are holding this token, for example, okay, number one, no reason to exit until it loses the 50-day moving average, 0.07174. Okay, so no reason to exit this thing at all. And if you are holding it, why don't you set a limit sell order at a nice horizontal level and a nice area of interest? So number one, if we do get a pop, let's say this thing runs 30%, there's a nice horizontal there. If it runs 50%, there's another nice horizontal, a little bit higher, 0.11 56. Okay, you could look at. So these could be areas where you could just set your limit orders, let it ping in the dead of the night while you're sleeping, bag your profits, and move on, and move on swiftly. And then at some point, these things come back for you, and you can get your next potential entry. Another example I got for you, API3. Okay, also interesting. If you're holding API3, I know this is a very popular token as well. This has been a great performer. You've got massive support at 2.6. Is this not worth buying any API3 on any weakness down into these regions and keep setting a higher sell limit order at approximately 50 to 70% higher above your potential token? So look at that as an idea for you guys. We know there's a lot of holders of this API3, but if we get a nice pump here, there's a 40% move example to 4.3. So look out for this region here. And if you want to look at potentially buying this token, and other than the fact that it might be listed on Upbit, we know there's a little bit of interest in this project, and you can see there's a little bit of trend pressure right now. So what you can do is look at a couple of support regions. Look at this banger, 382 right here, holding support for you here. So your level 2.9. Nice little area of support right now for this API3. So any weakness into the zone, you can look to clip off some buys, and you're looking for moves higher. And then if we have further weakness and we start dipping, you've got a banger zone here, 2.62, somewhere in this region. Huge area here for you at API3. So remember, mark this on your list. You might get a free 50% pump here. All you need to do is have this on your watch list, set your alarm. If there's weakness in the market, jump into some of these tokens and play around. And I see Ian shorted this STG. Yes, another thing you could do is short these things off major resistance zones. So if we look at auction as an example, let's just see what it rejected off. Let's see if we've got some fibbage that we can play with here, and maybe it talks to us a little bit. So let's pull some fibs and just get a guide here. Let's see if it actually respects these fibs for us. I want to see if we've got a 786. Okay, bang, there's a little 786 in horizontal. So we know these things generally are going to pump to nice little zones where you might get some fibbage in play as well. So you're going to drag your fibs from the highs to the lows, and you're going to look for your bounce on those fibs. And one more for you guys, Magic. This is also a potential listing on Upbit. So we don't know when, we don't know if ever. But again, if you're trading Magic, no reason to exit this thing. Look how nice this is looking here on the 50-day MA and the 382 fib right now at 0.77. Nice little support for you, and easy game plan here. If this thing pops as well, you just want to highlight a couple of your horizontals, and hopefully one of those will be the one where it's going to ping. And if you get some fibbage tied into that, that's going to help you even more. So let's take a look here quickly. We just want to look where some of our fibs are. Okay, bang, look at that. Nice little 618 sitting at 1.23. So watch that region. 1.23 could be an absolute banger. And look at this. We've also got a 200-day MA and the 382 sitting in this zone. So there's a little banger zone for you as well. But if this thing gets listed on Upbit, it's not going to stop at the 200-day. I can assure you this thing is going to rip, and it's going to go to like 1.2, somewhere in that region. Matt says Fibonacci's correct. Guys, I see a lot of the sniper team from Sniper Club here in the chat. Matt is one of our traders in Sniper Club, and if you want to find out more what these guys are up to, you can jump into Sniper Club. The link is in the description, and I'm going to bring on this man shortly, and he's going to talk to us about a little project as well. So what's our likeage like at the moment there?
Not enough. 350.
Not
come
enough.
on, guys.
Guys, come. If you're enjoying the content, hit the like button. If you want to see what Chaos is bringing here to the table, including a beam chart for you guys, hit some more likes. I'm going to crack on with a couple more of these charts, and then we're going to bring him on in a couple of seconds here for you guys. Okay, another one for you, ICP. I took a little long today off the 200-day moving average. So nothing too fancy here. All I did was I saw a 786. I saw weakness in the market. I saw a 200-day moving average, and this gave me a little scalper opportunity here for ICP. So right now, I did take a long off ICP here on ZoomX. And there it is at the moment there at the bottom. There's ICP, and you can see I'm still sitting in that ARC position here. And right now, so far, so good. Let's just get that chart back up. And so my strategy here for ICP, it was a scalper long off the 200-day moving average. My higher conviction zone has to be a little bit lower down here. 11.1 looks like a region, down to 11 looks like a nice zone for us. Why is that a nice zone? Nice little range lows. But if you want to have a go on ICP, you do have 786 support, 200-day moving average support, and some horizontal. So these type of areas are too juicy for me to ignore. When I see them dropping onto these zones, I start drooling a little bit and I start nibbling away at a couple of positions. So when you get these little gifts, even if they're small little moves, you can play around in those zones. So right now, watching ICP off the 200-day MA, your support is 11.75. Okay, that's a nice little area. If we lose the 200-day MA, look for a wick into 11.1, and you can see this chart's nice and clean. It shows you why this looks like a nice reaction area, looks like a nice potential bounce zone, and maybe that's going to tie in with a little bit more weakness in the market. Is that going to tie in with Sol dropping to 158? Is that going to tie in with Link dropping to 17? Is that going to tie in with BTC dropping to 65k? Those type of things. So remember in your planning, when you're watching your levels, understand your favorite altcoin that you're trading, understand your next big zone that you're looking at, and then refer back to Bitcoin and say, okay, where does Bitcoin need to be where I expect that these alts could potentially be sitting? And once you have that picture, then you can start fishing around when you start hitting those zones. So ICP, little scalper happening there now. And obviously, it would be lovely to see a little bit more action. But if we got weakness, you know the plan. And you know what to do. Here's an update for you guys on Floki. So I gave you this level yesterday. And earlier this morning, when we started hitting these areas, I pinged the Sniper Club. And I said, guys, I'm buying Floki. What else was I buying? WIF. I bought AR. I bought Fetch. A couple of others. And they were just sitting in good little regions. And I just wanted to show you guys again the power of these areas, the power of these fibs, and what they can do for you when they come and ping these areas. Now, obviously, when we hit these types of zones, it doesn't mean that's the bottom of the move and now we go straight to the moon. But what it tells you is that these are areas you can nibble around if you're looking for a bit of a position. And these are areas that you shouldn't really be selling on when there's a lot of weakness. So if you've had weakness for a couple of hours and the tokens are dropping into these big areas, often you want to just sit back and let them react in these zones. Let them do their thing before you make any irrational decisions on solid support zones. So, you know, quite often you might get a couple of bounces and then you can lose that potential support. But these things give you a breather. If the market is sweating out, they actually say to you, hang on, take a breath here. Let's see what happens. There's a reaction in these zones. And then you can start making, rational decisions here and not get too emotional on them. So nice little bounce so far from Floki. And you've seen it in a lot of tokens today. I don't have all of them here for you. But if you start looking at some of your own tokens, and then obviously Sniper Club, guys, all my charts were updated for you there today. And those levels are now playing out for now. And if you've had good bounces off these areas from earlier today, now you can just raise some of your stops there and start de-risking some of your plays. Okay, let's see. Robin says, what about Arweave's brief retracement first, right? I'm not sure what we're talking about, but I've got Arweave here for you guys. And let's see. I see Onkar says Sui. He's feeling pressure on Sui. I think then we definitely are going to look at Sui. Okay, I'm going to bring on Chaos because we've got a new show partner as well that he's going to talk to us about. And he's actually been invested in this token for quite a while. So I actually thought, let's get him on. Let's get his views on this current token. It's also got an interesting chart as well. So let's get a little bit of action here, and let me just get the tweet out. It's AITECH. Okay, so we are going to be talking about this now. Look at the size of their Twitter account, 370,000 followers at the moment. Let's get in our resident fundamentals and indicator legend. Welcome.
Yo, I've got a friggin' stat for you like you would not believe. Ready for this one? Every single person. In fact, I'm going to show you. Can you bring my screen up real quick?
Yeah.
Check this out. I want to show you guys this date. Can you see this?
Yes.
24th of November last year, when this token was 4 million market cap. Every single person in Sniper Club that took this is over a 25x up.
Bang.
Every single one of them. I've just had a message from someone saying you made me 25 grand on one trade.
Okay, well done, sir. Well done.
This is
well
why
done
you should be in Sniper Club, people.
Okay, guys, another story to tell. But yeah, if you want some of this action, jump into Sniper Club. Okay, talk to me about AITECH. Why is this thing hot? What's the story?
So, long story short, I've been chirping on about this one since last November. What this basically is, okay, it's by Solidus, it's AITECH, it's a fully doxed team, and that's really important in this market. You know what it's like when people hide behind, invisible faces. We're at 104 million market cap now, up from 4 million, so it's a huge jump. It's the world's first deflationary AI token. The main token is AITECH, is the name of the token. It's on Binance Smart Chain. and it's basically a payment gateway for licensing AI as a service, which is one of their services, blockchain as a service, infrastructure as a service, and then they do HPC rentals, which is basically they lease high performance computing. They're trying to solve a huge amount of different problems, one of which is latency, security costs too high. You know, it takes too long to get the data. They outsource to the US. So they've built a massive warehouse in Bucharest. And what they're aiming for is basically to be the top data center in the whole EU. They're launching a marketplace. There's basically a really cool new feature, seamless fiat to crypto transactions. So you can upload your fiat and it goes out as crypto. It's absolutely amazing.
So they're renting out their data center, basically.
One of the 4 services.
Uber
I mean, you know how like you've got Render, who do rendering services and offer GPU power. You've got high performance computing rentals or lease, if you like. But I think the most exciting thing is blockchain as a service and AI as a service. What's so good about this is it's got a crowdfunding IDO platform. It's got a staking platform. There's different investment tiers. What you do is you basically buy this token, you link your MetaMask, and you essentially throw your tokens into this thing. You get given a tier, and the higher tier you are, the better IDOs you get, the better rates you get, the better tokens you get. It's one of the most bullish things ever. It's got 27 different exchanges and 5 launch pads.
Well, they've got a massive community here as well. So, I mean, it's clearly a proper project. You can see Virtual Bacon as well. He's one of the big guys also following these AI tech. And, what's interesting to me is the chart. Okay, so we've obviously seen this pumpage, but now it is actually moving into a hot zone. So for me, I mean, you can see what's going on here. This thing is bottoming out on some horizontals. So is this a potential buy zone? Yes, for spot, 100%. You want to be looking at this type of area. Look at this nice solid horizontals here in play. Look at this ping. Look at this ping. And now we've got the 200-day moving average arriving here for us as well. And this is a nice little DCA zone, nice little spot buy zone. This is obviously a long-term play. This is a serious project. And, you don't mind if you're buying a little bit of spot here. If this thing dips a little bit lower, you can buy a little spot there and that sort of thing. But we can see what they are doing. We can see they a proper setup here and a proper project. And this thing could have some legs. So I like this accumulation here. Looks like we could have something.
My chart's saying the same thing. I've got my oscillators. I've got 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 currently on my screen. You're welcome to bring it up if you... Oh, there you go. That's it. Cool. So obviously we've got here, we've had 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which has bottomed out. It's given us a dot and it gave us a red dot briefly for this wick. But we're back in the green again. The VWAP's facing up. The momentum wave's facing up. This RSI is obviously making its way out. The cash flow wave has bottomed out and it's now coming back. I've drawn in this same sort of support line that I guess is pretty close to the one you've drawn. All of our order blocks, they're above. So, there's a huge amount of liquidity to kind of take out of these areas. And I'd love to see that 25x double, quite honestly.
25x is a good start, though. Okay.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not our best, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to get into... I see there's a question for Notcoin as well and Sui. So I need to deal with this for you guys urgently. And then I've got a couple of other tokens as well that I wanted to just rush through quickly for you guys. And then Chaos, can you get Beam ready for us? Because that was one of the questions. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's smash Beam here quickly. So those of you trading Beam, here we go. Here's an analysis here from Chaos. Let's see what we got.
So very quickly with Beam, it's important to note that we are kind of... Oh, that's not loading. There we go. We kind of... Excuse all the numbers, guys. It's just because I've zoomed out a bit. We're kind of in this area where we've been hovering around for quite some time. But what's of interest to me is right now is that Market Cypher, the oscillators, had a chance to reset. We've just got a green spot on the 4 hour and we're facing up. But one of the other things that is normally a big indicator for me is bullish divergence. Sorry that I'm having to move lots of different screens around. There we go. If you kind of take a look at this is obviously a bullish divergence sign. Combine this with the green spot buy that we've basically got on the Market Cypher, the oscillator. And I think we're in a good spot here. Again, it could be spot purchase maybe. But we've got a green trend line, which is great. And I'd like to see us sort of move up from this lower level down at this minus 60 range, right the way back positive again. And hopefully the price action will translate to something similar as well, where we're going to start making our way out to these levels again.
Okay. There you go. You were looking for a beam analysis. There it is from the legend of Sniper Club. If you want more of this man, he's also our airdrop king. Okay, if you want to learn about airdrops, you just jump into Sniper Club. He gives you a step-by-step guide onto how to take part in the various airdrops that he's involved in. He takes them with you. He shows you what to do, and he's so nice. If you tag him, he'll just talk to you, hang out with you, all these things.
So
So
nice.
get,
They don't know me.
get into Sniper Club. Chaos, hang around if you want to. I'm going to
Sure,
start
bro.
speeding through some of these. Arweave, I wanted to update you on, Aave. Here we go. So Aave, I brought you guys a potential entry brewing on Aave and some more bullish news on it at the moment. So I just wanted to update you guys that we are moving into our entry zone. This is the zone that I told you guys about a few days ago. And again, sometimes we just have to wait. We have to let these areas play out for us and we can test these good areas. So Aave, if you want to have a test here, we are dipping into our zone very soon. I would like to see a move into this 100 level. So we are nearly there. Okay, we looked at it when we were sitting up there and we were saying, hang on, let's let this thing drift lower. I would love to see something like that for Aave. So coming into an entry zone, if you are sitting in Aave, for example, and you bought the top, this is a perfect example for you where I tell you, look out for reactions at these big zones. Don't start selling on big support until we start losing big support, then make those types of decisions. So let this thing dip down. This is the 200-day moving average and 382 fib for you guys and 100 Aave, bigger banger project for me, and I'm a big fan of that. And then you guys would have noticed today, we've started pumping. And this is to do with a new token. Okay, so there was a token launch, and I mean, Chaos maybe knows a little bit more about the current situation.
Not on this one, sorry, bro. Not on this
token
one.
launch anyway, pumpage, bang. And what did it pump off? Another example of the 50-day moving average playing a game for you guys. So I've shown you a lot of tokens where you see this 50-day moving average coming into play. These are areas where we get good reactions off these zones. So make sure you're not selling onto these types of supports until you start losing those supports. So Arweave looking good now, and a nice little move on that token used, and now you have a new support that you can play with. So if you were sweating in Arweave, look what you got. You got your bounce off your 50-day MA, 36.5. That is your major support. And now your next line of support you can now look at has got to be 39. Okay, so if we get more pullbacks here, you're looking for 39 to hold, and then this thing to play a little bit higher. So if you were sweating on that position, things are now looking a little bit bullish here, provided we start holding 39, and then you'll be cooking again. Then things are going to be flying. And lower down, remember, never lose sight of your next big level, because crypto changes in a matter of hours. Sentiment can change, and make sure you always understand where your next big zone is. And for me, the next big zone, the sell your hamster zone, 32.5, that's where it is. And you can see I've highlighted that one in yellow for you guys. Sniper Club, this chart is in the Sniper Club for you guys at the moment. And the boat painter says, can someone tell us what is going on with Nia? Yeah, a little bit of weakness, I think, all over the place. And let's just try and get into as many of these as possible. Pyth, I just wanted to highlight again quickly, Pyth on the daily, big support. If you're sitting in a Pyth position, you've got a major order block here all the way down to 0.35, so nothing to worry about there. And you do have current support at 0.4. So Pyth traders, if you're sitting in it, if you're sweating in it, you can see we have support here down to 0.35. So nothing to really panic about too much, and it might be bottoming out at some point. So we've seen Celestia revive itself. Maybe we're going to get a Pyth revival, something along those lines. Also, you know, the staking narrative, maybe Pyth comes up with something else. I mean, Celestia is all about the modular narrative now. So now they've refired up things. So maybe something's going to come out there on Pyth. So nothing to worry about there for Pyth. Let's bang out Sui. Let's just see where we are. And Sui is still fine. This is a trade we've been sitting in for ages. It feels like ages here on Sui. This trade was fired off on the 16th of May, and it's just doing a little bit of nothing at the moment. This is a potential runner against or runner with the Celestia situation built on Cosmos, or if I'm not mistaken, Chaos. So potential runner here. So no changes to this. If you are sitting in Sui, there is no change at the moment. And other than it's looking pretty boring, but we'll have to wait and see how this is going to play out. So Sui, nothing to really worry about yet. If you start losing some big levels, yes, maybe if you start losing the 786 fib, which is a little bit lower, if you start losing 937, maybe you want to look for clipping. But then lower down, we've got these horizontals a little bit lower down as well at 88. So if you're sitting in spot, nothing to worry about. And right now, if you're sitting in leverage, well, you've got your 618 support at 9985, and so nothing too serious there either. What was the other one we needed to pull out here, Chaos?
You've done all the ones that I had on my list. BMX.
There was a question in the chat, and I wanted to nail it.
Myros. Someone's asked for.
There was a
Rune.
It wasn't Rune. I'm looking for it, guys. Let me know. Remind me again, please, guys. I'm trying to get your charts here in the chat. I don't want to miss it. Phantom. Okay, well, let's look at Phantom, because that's also a topical one. Phantom, bullish on Phantom. So, good things happening there.
Definitely.
There is going to be a token switch at some point, but I think the exchanges will just do a one-to-one swap there. So nothing to really worry about on Phantom, but it is dipping down into a hot zone. So another area of interest for you guys. And there's two main zones here for Phantom. So number one has got to be this region up here at 75 to 76. So there's your first potential trade. As long as it dips down into that region, you want to see it push into this 50-day MA and 618 region. If you get that little wick lower, there's a potential bounce there for you. And then very simple plan here for Phantom. If we start losing this area, there's a good chance they're going to want to send it much lower to these range lows. So no trade for me on Phantom. If we start losing that area, I'd rather just sit back and wait. It must either break that trend or it must drift a little bit lower. So the Phantom big levels, 75, 76, or you're looking at about 62 down to 60. Those are the ones of interest for me. Come on, there's got to be. I'm missing one of these tokens that somebody asked for. But let's do HR while I try and rack my brain.
I'm just looking back. Did you do? There's QNT Quant came up, and also Gummy and Tucker have both come up as well, and Munta. I don't know if you want to do any of those.
Let's see. We did Tucker yesterday. Nice little bounce for Tucker. Let's see. And then we'll pull up some Gummy as well. Okay. And let's see HBAR. So floating around a 50-day MA, this pump that you can see here was a fake pump. Didn't these HBAR guys create some kind of narrative with BlackRock, and then it turned out that it wasn't true? It was something like that.
It wouldn't be the first time. I'm not sure.
Okay, so the reason you see this massive candle is people associated HBAR with RWAs, and they went and announced something like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it was something like they made an announcement saying they were partnering with BlackRock, and then BlackRock turned around and said, well, actually, we don't know anything about this, and something went wrong. So HBAR, I can see a big zone here for you. I can see a very nice juicy zone here. Let's not sleep on this area. I think we're going to get a nice reaction down there, but I would suggest wait for it. Look at this 200-day MA 786 as well, and horizontal. So for you HBAR longs 0.093, love that area, and you just want to see something like that, a little meltdown into the zone, maybe another fake headline from them, and then bang, conveniently sending it a little bit higher for you guys. Okay, Chaos, thanks for hanging.
Cheers, bro.
Appreciate this man, and find him in the Sniper Club. Catch you later. Guys, you got your levels, you got your areas, you know what the plan is. Always know your current region, know your next region. Don't over leverage, don't get too crazy. There's more data out in the States tomorrow. PCE inflation is coming out, so possible volatility there. Don't forget that S&P on Prime XBT could be a nice long, and I'm going to be looking out for that for a potential bounce as well. And that's a wrap from me. So looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to pick up the pieces, or we're going to be celebrating victories when things are flying. So we'll catch you guys later.